Welcome, football fans. It is episode 5.3 of Polar Opposites over on the USFL network. It is Ace and Webb debating USFL topics. Today we are doing week 2 game predictions. Webb, where can we find you?
NOLA Breakdown on Twitter, Insta, everything. On YouTube with Breakers Weekly. And usually here 3 times a week beating Ace. So.
Oh my gosh, trying to beat Ace.
Yeah.
You can find me at PocketAces_USFL on both Instagram and Twitter. All right, so we are doing week 2 game predictions. We're just going to run through the 4 games of week 2 of the USFL, and we're each going to give you our prediction of who's going to win and why. So, Webb, what game do you want to talk about first?
I think the easiest one, we're going to start with Stars and Maulers.
Dude, the Stars are going to win.
Oh, yeah. The Pizzagate.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's a distraction.
The Maulers are going to be serving up chicken salad, and it's just not going to work. I think that the Maulers secondary is a little bit better than we give them credit for. Their defensive line is not bad. I think their linebackers are fairly weak. And I think that Brian Scott has come back hungry, man. He got his first loss in years, and I think he's come back with a vengeance. I think that the Maulers are so screwed.
I hope Bart balances the play calling, honestly, because it seemed like he fell in love with the pass, and they were getting the 6 yards, but the run game was actually the one that scared me more watching as a Breakers fan. And Holland had 9 carries for 53 yards, I think. Like every time he touched the ball, it was a positive gain, and the offensive line struggled. And when you're 1st and 10, you're throwing the ball, and then you get hit and you're sacked. Now you're 2nd and 15, your running game becomes obsolete. So I feel that as long as Bart finds some kind of balance, I think the Stars should be able to handle this. By the way, going back with our previews and everything, I was 3-1, and I think you were 3-1 as well.
Let's go.
My one loss was the Breakers. I picked against them. So.
Dang.
Yeah. And your one loss was the Maulers. You picked the Maulers and beat the Bandits. You thought Pepper Johnson would be fired by now.
I still thought, even before the game, like right before the game yesterday, I still thought the Maulers had a good chance. We were seeing the teams that were running the best were going to win. Yeah. And I thought that they were going to have a great run offense, and they didn't. Yeah. Madre London did show some life, though. He was getting hit in the backfield, but he was still breaking tackles. I think that if they can find a way to get him in space, I think he's going to be great. I think Garrett Groshek's going to be good, running up the middle. They just have to find something in the pass game and be a little more creative, just even a little more creative than running dives.
You can't be creative when you have 3 receivers on your roster active. You can't. First of all, you're playing the coach that probably knows you the best, from Todd Haley.
Yeah.
And now he made jokes about it in the Breakers halftime show. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't get to watch that.
Well, I figure he's going to run the ball a lot. Then you come out and you just run the ball.
And you literally run the ball.
And it's your first time. I don't know, man. I love Kirby. I love hearing him talk. He was my favorite on the RJ Young podcast. But anyways, talking about another coach that got some heat. Panthers Generals.
I think I'm going to say the Panthers.
Ooh, boy.
I think the Panthers win. I think they showed life in the second half. I think that now Paxton Lynch is the backup. That dude sucked. He showed why he's not in the NFL. He showed why he was a bust first-round pick. That dude was terrible. And in the second half, they said, Shea, go out there, get in a groove, do your thing. And it was working. They still lost, but I think that he showed some life in the second half. He was settling down a bit. I think Stevie Scott, Cameron Scarlett, that dude he was a steal in the supplemental. That dude's a beast.
Yeah.
And Lance Lenoir, he was great. He was a really good receiver. He dropped a couple balls he should have had. But I think that they could pull it out against the Generals, who are still running a 2-quarterback offense. And anybody who's running a 2-quarterback offense, I think, is going to lose. So I'm going to go with the Panthers.
You know what's crazy? I wrote the Panthers down.
What?
Yeah, I did. Well, I felt Patterson got in the groove. The running game, I've said they've had the best running back room the entire time, and I still believe it. Stevie Scott was good, and if they get a little bit of a passing game from Patterson, I think the defense was pretty good. I think the defense gets a bad how many points do they really give up to you guys?
11.
That man, if you're holding a team to 11 points,
you should win.
You should win.
You should win.
2001 Ravens won a Super Bowl with giving up 11 points a game. So I'm going with the Panthers. I think the Generals. That was a tough loss. They do move the ball with both quarterbacks, which is really cool. I know what you're saying with the two quarterbacks. You have no quarterbacks, but both quarterbacks did their job, man.
No, they did.
You normally don't see that. You normally see a Patterson Lynch kind of scenario where you're like, why is this guy out there?
No, I get you. It did feel a lot like a lot of Northwestern offenses that I've seen. Northwestern loves to run two quarterback offenses, and it's usually one runs, one passes. Yeah. And that's what it was. And I think that the Stallions were still thinking that DeAndre was going to throw more than he did. Yeah. And I think this week they're going to queue up on him. I think DeAndre is going to take some hits. So, which sucks because I like DeAndre Johnson. I think he's a cool quarterback. If he can get a little more accurate, I think he has a chance of being a star in this league. But I just don't see it.
And at the same time, Luis Perez, I think he could be a starting quarterback in this league too.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. But he had a 200-yard game, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy!" His first pass was 49 yards, and it was underthrown, and the receiver made that catch. It shouldn't have been caught. It wasn't a good pass. So he basically threw 150 yards, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't as impressive as I think a lot of people thought it was.
But he also played half a game, so
that's true. And he had the same amount of yards as Brian Scott, who played a whole game. So you're not wrong. I just think I wasn't super impressed by him, but I think that he will get better. All right, what's game 3? Tell me.
Gamblers Stallions.
Dude, gamblers all day. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat them. Put your money on us. Roll the dice.
I disagree. I actually wrote down a score for this one.
What was it?
22-17.
You think we're gonna cap out on 17 for the whole season? Oh my gosh.
No, I just think the Stallions offer more on offense than you saw for an entire game, and I think Jamar is the answer. And I know Magoo's banged up, but the team just seemed like, all right, we got this. And if I don't know if you
behind him.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard Jamar's on the RJ Young show this week. Jamar basically has been Coach Holtz's right-hand man. So he's reached out to every single player. Hey, you need help. You need help. You need help. And I think I'm not saying anything bad about Alex Magoo. I just think Jamar has the faith of the entire locker room.
Yeah, and I think it kind of sucks for Alex Magoo, the fact that in the second quarterback round, Skip Holtz went and got his guy who he coached in college. He already knows him. The guy has already run this offense. He already knows what he's doing. It's a huge advantage. It showed in the game that he knew what he was doing. The instincts, the muscle memory were there when he needed it for the plays. And I agree that he is the more natural leader of this offense. But I just think that the Gamblers defense is that good that we will stop them. And I think that our offensive line, I think we're going to get our run game going. We're going to get Dalen Dawkins running more. And I think Clayton Thorson is going to settle down. I do believe it. Jojo Ward and him, they have a great chemistry already. Isaiah Zuber caught a touchdown, showed his athleticism and his playmaking ability. I think that we're going to come back. We're going to be a better offense this week. I'm not saying we're going to light it up. I'm not saying we're Case Keenum and Kevin Sumlin's Houston defense. Yeah. But what I am saying is that we'll be better and that our defense is legit. And I think that we will still win.
That's fair. I just think Stallions offer a little bit more on offense. And
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So, and the last one, Breakers, Bandits. You want me to go first? I'll go first. Bandits.
Go first.
Bandits.
What?
Hey, if I keep picking, I don't care if I go 3-1 every week. If I keep picking against the Breakers.
And they win.
It's a win-win.
Okay, well, I'm going Breakers because I saw the offensive line of Tampa Bay yesterday, and it wasn't great. I think Bruno Reagan's hilarious. I didn't think he blocked well last night. I think that they looked bad, and I think that it's going to be another thing like Brian Scott. You're going to have Jordan Ta'amu back there. Everybody thinks he's going to light it up, and then he's going to spend the entire game on his butt. I think that Davin Bellamy is going to eat again because it's another offensive line that is not great, and I think they can't. I don't think they're getting anything going. Like, I love Juwan Washington. I think B.J. Emmons is great. I don't think they can even get the run game going because they won't be able to pass. They won't be able to open the field at all. So I'm going Breakers.
That's fair. Everything you said was accurate. I'm just going Breakers. I mean Bandits because I'm really rooting for the Breakers.
I get you. I've been there before.
I have to run that way. Like, dude, we talk about the South was so great, right? And the one team I picked against was my own team, and the South was great. So I'm going to stick with what I know. So
no, it's like in college. Every time I left an exam, like the 2 times that I was like, man, that was the easiest exam. I feel great about that exam. I failed so bad. So every time, I don't care how easy I thought an exam was, I'd walk out. They'd be like, how'd you think it was? I'd be like, it was okay. Whatever. So I get that approach to the games, and I don't blame you. So.
Well, once again, I took you to school.
Oh my gosh.
All
right, everybody. Those are
ready for week 2.
Those are our previews. You know what? I'm going to put a score on the Stallions Gamblers. I think that it's going to be 26-21 Gamblers.
Write it down. 26-21 Gamblers.
These are.
Oh wait, is that the 2 games combined? 26 points.
Wow.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Hey, I got Thorson on my fantasy team, so I'm kind of rooting for you.
I have him on another fantasy team.
I'm taking on KB, man. She was the highest scoring team, I think, this week.
Yeah, she schooled my brother, and he was like the second highest scoring team.
Yeah, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? But she's got a bunch of Stallions, so I guess I'm kind of rooting for you even more now.
There you go.
To shut them out, but.
All right. Well, tell us your thoughts on our thoughts when we put up a poll after this episode comes down. Polar Opposites, episode 5 in the books. Tip the fedora. Thank you, guys.